What we do know is this interesting little nugget here, because we see management withheld metal from sale during the price correction over the last 2 weeks of March. Well, hello there, my friends. Chris Marcus here with you for Arcadia Economics on a Friday night, because I know we didn't have any other videos today and you didn't want to go all weekend without getting some silvery talk. Plus, there's a lot of good news happening, even if it is not reflected. The incredibly fraudulent Comex spot price, whatever the heck that's actually used for. But fortunately, I will bring the good news tonight because it is there. Do have some positive developments to send you off for some fun for the weekend. So anyway, as you can see here in the completely meaningless Comex price that tells nobody anything, although it's fun to watch the Comex have their metal drain, which continued with a few more million ounces this week, you can see that they're at least claiming 2530-ish of whatever their useless price actually means. So now that we've covered anything on the Comex, we're going to start calling this the real silver channel, not the fake propaganda silver channel. So we'll get rid of that chart and go over to Endeavour Silver, who had some interesting news. Don't worry, we're not going to be digging just into mining stocks tonight, but just a couple of highlights. First of all, Endeavour is one of the larger silver producers. I just thought it was interesting. Produces 1 million ounce silver, 11,000 ounce gold for the equivalents in Q1. I mean, when we talk about the silver market having about 1 billion ounces of supply per year, it's not like there's a couple of companies that are, slugging out 200, 300 million. I mean, here's one of the bigger producers, and it was 1 million in the last quarter. And as Brad Cook, who came on from Endeavour a month or so ago, mentioned, I mean, it's like even if these companies ramp things up, if the investment demand continues, you can't just go say, all right, well, we'll dig a little bit longer today to cover the imbalance. Although, who knows? Maybe Jeff Curry will be out soon explaining that. Maybe there's a big below ground open interest coming up the pipeline. Who knows? Yet, what we do know is this interesting little nugget here, because we see management withheld metal from sale during the price correction over the last 2 weeks of March and plans to sell the withheld metal inventory in anticipation of a precious metals prices rebound in the second quarter. Well, gee, that's interesting, because one of the emails I get most often, I know some of the silver people are always wondering, well, how come the miners keep selling at the low price? How come they don't do anything about the manipulation? Obviously, you've heard Keith Neumeyer of First Majestic Silver talk about it plenty. There have been others that Vino Silver had made a deal with Samsung. There's an article you can Google on that. And now here we have Endeavour Silver not talking about it, but actually putting in their notes that they withheld metal. And one other thing I would add to that, I've been discussing it with a lot of the silver companies. Fortunately, I'm in the position I get to talk to many of them, although everybody's in that position, I might add, because unlike your average tech company or government treasury official, I would say one of the things I love about silver is that you can call these companies, you can email them, you will get answers to the questions, certainly the ones that I bring on the show here. And so you can A, pass along your thoughts about this, but B, to the degree that I've been getting a lot of emails hearing from people, how come the miners don't withhold supply at these prices? Some of them are starting to. I've discussed it with others who I think are interested, and maybe this is not the answer some people want to hear, but I think for some of the companies, it's like, they're not sitting here digging into the Comex every day like me and other people in the silver community are. And also I heard from one where he was saying, yeah, that makes sense, although what do I actually do about it? And that's where I'm doing what I can to provide some answers. So I'll just leave it at there has been ongoing discussion on that. Obviously, they're running a business, so it's not like they can just say, well, we'll hold it forever. and I am exploring ways in which a conversation could be held, or at least some communication, checking with lawyers first to make sure that anything of that nature would be done in a completely legal and appropriate manner. So, but I will just say there is interest, and you see another company here demonstrating that, and we'll see if others join in. Again, one of those things you want to do carefully, but metal being withheld. So there's another large silver producer showing how useless the Comex actually is. And in my studies, as I continue to learn more about the Comex, I think fraudulent is an appropriate word. So I was listening to a Rick Rule interview that I've listened to a couple times now, because some of the things he says in there are pretty darn interesting. And he was discussing the Comex. He was saying, is the Comex going to fail? Are they going to get their doors blown off? And he was saying, well, the Comex is going to do what the Comex does, which is change the rules. And is that fraudulent? Probably. I mean, can they get away with it with the legal wording of the contract? I would say most likely yes. Does that make it slimy and disgusting? I think you can have that at the same time as well. But now let's just say, in the things of conversations that have been had hypothetically in recent times, addressing some of these short failings of this fraud box is at the top of the list. Now, is the Comex more fraudulent than the other stuff we see out of Wall Street and CNBC, where here they're actually still selling that earnings season is underway, and if Jerome prints enough cash, we could actually con people into thinking that the market is strong. Joe Biden must be proud. He has options to pay for a corporate tax hike. Infrastructure. Thought it was interesting. I saw a headline phrase the other day that he was just going to grab it from overseas profits. Just grab it, take it, sell it to the butcher at the store. So they just slip it in there. I mean, if that, I don't know why somebody didn't grab it before. It could sound like a basketball that rolled off the court. I'll pick it up, throw it back. I'll bet the companies that are going to have it grabbed from them are not thrilled about that, which reminds me of something else I've been thinking about, as I am now, for the second time in my life, heavily considering leaving the U.S. again. I was talking with someone else. Who was it? I don't remember who, but someone else was thinking of something similar. And man, when you put those set of economic policies in place, let alone the political, let's start a war with anyone that they can agitate. This is just my own speculation, but when I think about what I learned in my process of starting a business and some of the same, processes and phases that anyone has to go through to start a business, I just wonder that the longer this stuff goes on, if we won't see some big time capital flight out of here. And we'll see. It's unfortunate, but I guess on the other hand, does make it a very exciting time in the country, because if anyone ever has been tired of this stuff and has any inclination to stand up and say, no, I don't support what you're doing. If you don't support what you're doing, I'm not trying to take sides here. I'll preface, I did finish reading my Bush crime family book. Wow, there were some things in there that George didn't mention when he was saying how I didn't like broccoli and no new taxes. But I mean, all this stuff just seems like organized crime, different big families duking it out. And I think it's sad, and I think it's unfortunate. Yet, along the lines of accepting what is and doing the best you can with it, it's a great opportunity. I do believe this will come down sooner or later. Probably sooner, and they'll try and drag it out as much as possible until later. But I guess that's all I know how to do, is look at it. Well, what are the opportunities here, or how do you make the best of it? And that is what I will continue to do. And along those lines, a lot of fun things planned, a lot of fun events planned coming up this year, and really getting people together. Maybe outside of the U.S., maybe we'll have another meeting or so inside the U.S. I was invited to Bix Weir's party conference in May to speak and play some music in Phoenix. So hopefully see some of you there. It should be a good time. Although someone that I'm guessing Bix did not invite to his party is probably the great patriots over at the CFTC. And just a quick update. This will be our last feature of the night. Some of you noticed I was tweeting some things last week saying, gee, I really think that here, there's a statement of Acting Chairman Benham on trading in the silver markets. That's a couple weeks old. I think let's take a look. When was this one from? February 1st, the day before perhaps the single most disgusting felony that the CFTC has overlooked in the markets yet. No comment from Ross as he threatened a bunch of kids on some Reddit groups, while the agency once again continued to really go out of their way to ignore the evidence in this one. I hope I'm wrong about this, but it's become incredibly difficult for me to see any way in which they really want to do their job. I mean, I know some people have been waiting 41 years since the last hatchet takedown, or no, 10 years since the last one, 41 years since they did it in 1980. And I said that I hope they comment. I think it would really be appropriate for them to comment. And I placed a deadline of the close of trading today, which obviously is not a physical threat or a threat of any kind. No interest in doing that, to be clear. And I don't have subpoena power, so nobody has to listen to me. But what I do have is a creative mind and a few tricks up my sleeve to use the completely legal, moral, ethical boundaries of today's legal system, which I don't feel agencies like the CFTC do any part in maintaining. Yet, I will play fairly within their own rules. And while it is not finished, yes, you can certainly expect that some of the questions that I think the public deserves an answer to are going to be made public in what I think will be an intriguing way. Especially, here's the kind of thing I don't get. Acting Chairman Benham establishes new climate risk unit. So on February 1st, he said they're watching silver. And, now that's not easy to outdo the crime that we've seen in the silver market. And then here, all right, so let's see. All right, so there's February 1st. They're doing something with silver. Nobody knows what. And here, no, where did it go? All right. Let's find out. That's what I don't get. Why is the guy who's supposed to be investigating silver from the CFTC is establishing a new climate risk unit? Rostin Benham today announced he has established the climate risk unit to support the agency's mission. I gotta look that up again. The mission. All right, we'll come back to that one. Where were we? The agency's mission, which is apparently expanded. All right, let's go to the mission first. The co-mission. It's supposed, the mission of the CFTC is to promote the integrity, resilience, and vibrancy of the U.S. derivatives markets through sound regulation. So I'm not catching the connection between how that involves understanding pricing and addressing climate-related risk and transitioning to a low-carbon economy. And hey, what do I know? I mean, maybe a little bit, I like to think, but fine. If you're really concerned about the climate thing, knock yourself out. But can you finish what you promised here first? Especially given what's happening. And I'm personally tired of waiting. So I will be releasing my questions in a format that you'll find out more about shortly. Although I know somebody sent me this just in case you're concerned and you can't sleep this weekend. Here we find out that the CFTC was hard at work because they charged Easter Day ranches for engaging in fraud in connection with the sale of more than 200,000 non-existent head of cattle to a beef processor, making false statements to the exchange and violating exchange set position limits. Well, it seems like the CFTC at least is able to see when someone runs a Ponzi scheme in a commodity market and sells something they don't have. So perhaps they just needed a little reminder about the silver thing, of which I will provide. And hopefully sometime next week, a little more write-up to do, but Silver Chris did not forget. So with that said, remember, companies are now withholding silver production. I'm sure Dick Hayes of the Perth Mint will be explaining how that's not important anytime soon. I have been getting the emails from customers about the Perth Mint and from Kitco. I talked to someone who was a customer at Kitco yesterday that I'll just say I don't think people are making up the reports that you're hearing, but go and confirm what you can yourself, and I will continue to do so. Hopefully get a couple statements, but I do not believe that these people are making these things up. I mean, maybe not every single thing you hear out there, but you heard my thoughts on the Perth Mint from my call there. And sometimes it is what it is. So I would say don't listen to government. Don't listen to the media. Don't listen to your local banker, because you're so infinitely smarter and more full of integrity and honor than any of these unfortunate things that exist on planet Earth like that. But that's why we are going to just let their own wind propel their sails out of our way. Let them go cheat and steal until there's nothing left to cheat and steal. And while I know sometimes it's not always that much fun watching the price not move, I've never been more confident. I don't know the timeline, and I won't give you one until I have some reason to say so. But I don't know, at least I'm more inspired than ever every day when I wake up to continue exposing some of the dishonest things in the market. So with that said, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, because at the rate this Wall Street Ponzi is going, probably they won't even be able to make it till Monday without some further shenanigan, but we'll be on top of it for you then. And with that said, I will see you again soon.